Hey, welcome back to New Creature Hobbies. This is Omar. How you doing? Today we're doing a segment called Year's End Top 10, and it's exactly what it sounds like. I picked my top 10 favorite figures of 2018 to just kind of ring in the new year. It's the 28th right now. This should be going up on New Year's Eve. So I that's the plan. We'll see what happens. But just to ring in the new year, I just wanted to put out my favorite top 10. I couldn't narrow it down to 10. So I do have some honorable mentions as well. But year's end top 10 rolls off the tongue a lot nicer than year's end top 16 or 15. I don't. We'll get to it. All right. So my only criteria was that I picked it up in 2018. It doesn't really matter when it was manufactured. So if I got something that was manufactured in 2015 and I got it this year, then it qualifies. It's on the list. But just kind of looking at my spread. I have my spread on my. This is my review area. Just kind of looking at it, it doesn't look like anything was made before 2018 here, but I could be wrong. So, let me know in the comments below, right? Yeah. All right. Let's get started with number 10. Number 10 is Marvel Studios, the first 10 years, Hulkbuster. This guy is so nice. I was just, I remember when he first came out as a Build-A-Figure, I wanted him so bad, but, just looking at the Marvel Legends figures that they came with, I kind of looked at the wave and I was like, who are these guys? I don't know. I don't know them. So I skipped Hulkbuster in favor of saving money on figures that I don't know. So I'm really glad this guy came out. Just kind of addressing that, I really hope that in this next year, Hasbro changes their game with Build-A-Figures, because it kind of looks like that's what they're doing now, with the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure. There's a lot of figures in that wave that just makes sense with Apocalypse, So if they do that this year with more characters, I would be so happy, and it would be a lot less painful to pick up figures for the sake of a Build-A-Figure if I actually know who they are and why they go together. All right, that's number 10. Number 9, and I'm not going to do any different camera angles. We'll just keep it right here, okay? So with number 9, Endoskeleton, the T800 by NECA. This guy right here is just so impressive. I was so impressed with all of the details on this guy, just all the little nooks and crannies, the wash, even though his the wash on the skull is a little bit heavy-handed, it still looks really good and really menacing. And my favorite thing about this guy is that all the little pistons in his arms and legs move. Now, this guy would have been closer to the front of the top 10, but I had to scrap a review because his hand broke. The thumb broke off when I was trying to put a gun in his hand, and I super glued it back on. He made it back onto the top 10 list because NECA actually I emailed them and they contacted me and said, "Hey, we heard you, and here's a replacement hand." So that is the replacement hand right there. Yeah, it won't focus. Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot to be said about good customer service, and that's awesome. NECA went out of their way to give me a piece and peace of mind. It's like I don't have to worry about a broken piece on my figure anymore, or being fragile or being very careful with it because it has a thumb that was super glued back on. Because Super glue, CA glue is nice, but it can get a little fragile, you know. So you still have to be extra careful because it is a break, it is a seam, you know. So yeah, number 9. Awesome. All right, number 8. Number 8 is actually 5 figures. So if you know me, I am a diehard Transformers fan. This is Power of the Primes Abominus. Now, I've wanted this particular combiner, this Gestalt set, since I was little. The G1 set. I've always wanted a good representation of Abominus, and we got that Transformers Prime Beast Hunters blah 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 garbage. It was awful. You know, the proportions were weird. He had dragon hands, and his legs didn't like to stay on and everything. But then Power of the Primes came, and this is what happened. I am so impressed. And, you know, some of these figures are retools of other figures in the series of the Power of the Prime series. But, you know, you'd never guess it. You know, this is a set where I almost wanted to get a second set because they did such a good job making the figures into individual characters. They didn't do that very well with Combiner Wars, but I think Combiner Wars was a testing ground for better things like this. They did a great job with Abominus. He looks menacing. All those colors pop really nice. Even the decals. I hate decals, but these decals look really good. They're nice and sharp. They stay in place. They're not none of the panels or the articulation fold them up or anything. It's really nice, and the paint is good. It's really sharp. There's no overspray. It's amazing. I just love this figure. So that is 8. Number 8. I'm going to have to keep this in my head like 10, 9, 8. This is number 8. Abominus from Power of the Primes. And number 7 is actually also from Power of the Primes, and this is going to kind of shock people. But I don't really care because this is my list, not yours. This is number 7. Power of the Primes Evolution Rodimus Prime. He gets a lot of flack for his weirdo shoulders, but you know what? If you think about it, you know, you got your forward, you got your back, and now he can block his face. This was a good engineering call right here to have his shoulders be able to do this. Because when you have these huge pylons like Ultra Magnus, Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus, what's up with his shoulders? He can't do anything. Those pylons hit him in the face. That's not fun. But this right here, look at that. He can block his face, and it still looks normal. You know, I don't know what it is about this guy, though. You know, I mean, I want to say that it's more nostalgia than anything. My cousin Jay, when we were growing up, he had a Rodimus Prime, and it was the coolest toy I had ever seen. And one time he left it at my house. You know, we were living in Oceanside, I think, and they lived up in L.A. In California, and he left it at our house. And you know, it's like driving from Oceanside, from LA to Oceanside. That was a long drive, so I got to hold on to that thing for a really long time, you know, and it was really cool. It reminded me, you know, this guy reminds me of those good old days, you know. But man, with updated engineering. Engineering, that's the word, engineering. The Transformers these days take engineering to really make this work. You know, I mean the old G1 do too, but man, to make something like this work, people complain about this, like, oh, his shoulders are weird. Oh, you can see his hands here. But you know what? I'll tell you what. You make a figure this good, and I'll buy it. I promise you. This is a good figure. There are little quirks on him. Some of the plastic doesn't match. I think that more than anything, that was a call on, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Tolerances. I think that was a tolerance issue more than anything, because these arms clip on and come off, and you don't want something, shattering. So they might have had to use a different type of plastic. This is a softer plastic up here, and this is a harder plastic down here. Hard and soft. It'll clip together, and it'll have a little bit of give. So that was a good call. These are things that we complain about, but you also have to think about the engineering that goes into it. So that is number 7, Power of the Primes Evolution, Rodimus Prime. And number 6 is actually I don't remember if this guy is he Power of the Primes? This guy might be Titan's Return. Yeah, you know what? I think this is Titan's Return. This is Titan's Return Repugnus. Now, this I didn't even realize I did this. This was another figure that my cousin Jay had when we were growing up, and I was so jealous. This was one where I was actually really jealous, the G1, because it transformed into this weird looking potato bug kind of thing. And it had that gimmick. You remember the spark gimmick where you go like this and the sparks, and they, like you could cause like a legit fire with it. It was such a cool toy, and I was like legit jealous that he had this toy and I didn't. I mean, it's petty, but I mean, we were kids, but they re-released this, and man, it looks really good. They've got the potato bug face with the little the mandibles. You got these claws here. I'm not going to transform this guy because that's going to take too long, but this is the winning mode here. His alt mode was my favorite growing up. So this is how he's displayed on my shelf. But those colors, they really pop, and the molding looks really good. It's a remold of Double Cross. Is that his name? And then they used it for all 3 Monster Bots. This base mold, and this one by far is my favorite one, and of course nostalgia, right? So number 6, Power of the Primes, Prime Wars Trilogy, Repugnus. Number 5, this figure right here, Marvel Legends Gwenpool, from the Lizard Wave, I believe. This figure right here started me on Marvel Legends. I started Marvel Legends like earlier this year. I went to the grand opening at Think Geek in Austin, and I saw this figure on the shelf, and I said, I've got to have that. She's adorable. She's like so quirky, She's got all that pink and white, and she's not really a Deadpool type figure, but it's like, oh my gosh, they really, man, they really captured this character. If you have a chance to pick this one up and you like this character, definitely pick it up. She's really cool. She comes with like a bunch of extra hands, an alternate head, and she has this cell phone. She has that selfie kind of look for her cell phone. Yeah, but she's the reason why when Toys R Us closed before the summer, I actually started picking up Marvel Legends from Toys R Us because I picked her up. So she was the starter of my Marvel Legends craze, which carries on to today. You know, with the new Avengers Infinity War figures where they have the digital face prints, where the figures actually look like their on-screen counterparts. It's amazing, you know, and it's affordable too. You know, I don't have to get like an SH Figure Arts or a Mafex kind of, you know, figure. I can just buy a $20 Marvel Legends, and she's the reason I got into it. That was number 5. Number 4 is another. It's not Marvel Legends. It's actually NECA. NECA. You know what? We kind of already did this one, but not really. We've got the Governator, Terminator. You know, I got this, I want to say last week. My brother and I are December babies. So we go out and hang out and we get each other presents and stuff. It's a good way to just kind of hang out and just be cool, you know, like, and we'll buy each other presents. We'll walk around the stores. We'll spend time together. We'll talk and catch up and everything. But yeah, he said, dude, I want to get this for you. And it was this and the T1000. And I was like, dude, I was like on the verge of tears. This thing is so amazing. Look at that. That's definitely Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, NECA is one of those companies where I didn't really know who they were up until, I started watching Ultrazilla, actually. You know, he does a lot of NECA figures. And this, wow, you know, it's an amazing figure. Just like all the detail, like you can, this is what, like, on my unboxing, on his back, he's got bullet holes. There are bullet holes in his jacket, you know, and there's this, like, it looks weathered. It looks well done. This is an amazing figure. And they did a really good job capturing that menacing Terminator look from Terminator 2. Wow. So number 4, Terminator from Terminator 2 by NECA. Number 3 should not come as a surprise that I have so many of these on this list. From Transformers Siege, War for Cybertron, Optimus Prime. Dang. Okay, that's what I got to say about this guy. Like, I wanted this set for Megatron. I actually got this as a 2-pack. I couldn't buy it. I couldn't buy just Optimus Prime or just Megatron. I got it from Toy Dojo, and they were selling it as a 2-pack. So I got both of them, and I was actually looking forward to Megatron. But I opened up Optimus Prime, and I was like, whoa, okay, we're going back to that special word for Transformers, engineering. Wow, this guy is so tight. Like, everything, like you transform him to alt mode, everything's tight, and it's tight, like, you know, like a foreign car, like an expensive car where you slam the door and it's like, you know, like that really like satisfying, everything just fell together kind of feel. Like you slam the door and it's just like, wow. And you're just kind of like, in the back of your head, you're like, that, wow. It's like well, there was like a Progressive commercial where it's like that last strip of grass when you're mowing the lawn is the exact same size as the deck on your lawnmower, and you're just like, it's so satisfying. Everything on this guy fits together really, really well. And I'm just like blown away by this Optimus Prime. And you know what? I stand by it. I got a little flack for this. The detail on this guy deserves a bigger scale. I am a scale junkie. I like this scale, but you know, I also like novelty stuff. I'm allowed to. That's me. It's my collection. It's my money. I'm going to do what I want with it. So if I ever see this particular figure in a larger scale, I'm going to pick it up. No questions asked. I'm just going to pick it up. And you know, I already have this. I'm not getting rid of it. And you know, it scales well with the rest of my figures. I love it. I love it a lot. But I do think all this detail that goes into this figure deserves to be seen in a bigger scale. I love it. I love it. This is a great figure. I'm not saying it should have been a leader class. I'm saying I just want a bigger one. That's it, you know? So that's number 3. Transformers Siege, War for Cybertron, Voyager class, Optimus Prime. Don't fall. Don't fall. I already knocked someone over. Number 2. This is a company that I was kind of like, you know, at first I didn't really like them. But at the same time, I was so intrigued by them because their take on characters is so grandiose and ornate. I think that's a good way to describe it. Number 2 is Marvel Select Disney Store exclusive Thanos. Now, this guy, when I first saw him in the store, I looked at him and I said, that's not Thanos from Infinity War. So why is this a Disney Store exclusive? But you know, I looked at him, and 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 I was like, gotta have it. Gotta have it. It's you look at him. That's amazing. Like the sculpt, it's like a statue. There's so much, like the musculature is amazing. All of the you know, all of his gold trim, amazing. His collar, amazing. His helmet, amazing. This is his Infinity Gauntlet, amazing. Diamond Select, wow. You know, I cannot believe how good this figure looks, and I love having him on my shelf. I love taking him down. This is one of those figures that I'll just take down off the shelf and I'll just mess around with. And he's not perfect. He's not perfect. If you are a follower of my channel, you know that the reason he can do this is because I did a mod. Why can he look up? Because I cut a notch in the back of his neck. So the double ball joint can fall back there and he can look up. Instead of, you know, just looking forward the whole time. That's his original, you know, he can tilt his head up and look up. But I did that because all of my Thanos figures, I have a Thanos collection. They're hunched over like that. And I wanted this guy to be able to hunch over and just like, you know, be able to do one of these like, you know, he can take like one of those macho stances, like I'm gonna beat you up, kind of like Wolverine, except for not quite as pronounced with the hunch. You know, he's ready. He's gonna punch you like, bah! Shoryuken. Oh, that's a different. Okay. So number 2, Marvel Select Disney Store exclusive Thanos. He is just fun to play with and fun to look at. And yeah, that's why he's number 2. But number 1. Let's talk about number 1 for a minute he was hard to come by. I actually had some friends try to get him from San Diego Comic Con. Oh, I had one friend who tried to get it from San Diego Comic Con, and unfortunately he couldn't. So I waited on the Hasbro Toy Shop, and the website kept glitching and glitching and glitching, and finally the my purchase went through, and I was like, it's like you never know what if it actually goes through, because you're sitting there waiting for the confirmation email, and it's like okay, come on, confirmation. But I think I got a confirmation email like a day later, because it was like it was that same week that all the San Diego Comic Con stuff went onto Hasbro Toy Shop. Of course, I am talking about another Transformer, San Diego Comic Con exclusive Optimal Optimus with the Throne of the Primes. I'm not going to take down the Throne of the Primes. That thing is made of cardboard. It's on my shelf. I do not want to move it. But this guy, wow. He's if you know about the retail version, he's that classic orange and blue Optimal Optimus. And this one is the Comic-Con exclusive version is colored like Optimus Primal, and that's really why I wanted it. It looks like a big version of Optimus Primal, and I didn't watch the show often, but when I was watching it, when I'd watch it, I'd be like, okay, so why did Optimus Primal not retain his coloring? This was the one I wanted. I wanted a classic. I wanted the Optimal Optimus look with the classic Optimus Primal coloring, and I was glad to see this pop up. And I was, it's always fun trying to get that stuff and being able to, say, hey, you know what I got? I got Comic-Con exclusive. But I really wanted this one. I didn't want the Optimal Optimus. I didn't want the retail version. This is the one I wanted. And if they didn't make it, then I just wasn't going to get one. I'm not going to take that off. But this guy, his evolution, his Optimus Primal Voyager figure, it's all right, but I wanted him to be big. So this is it. This is it. I love playing with this guy too. He's just like, there's so much good articulation on this figure, and he really looks the part too. He really, both the retail version and this version, they really look the part. They have that like that bulky gorilla look that, it's like, uh-oh. Gorilla's out of the cage, you're in trouble, man. And this particular version has the crown and the scepter of sparks. These are really cool extras, but this is the winner. This is what I wanted, and I got it, and I'm so happy about it. All right, so that was my number one. Number one, Optimal Optimus. So that's it for my year's end top 10. Let's move on to our honorable mentions. And these are really in no particular order, because my top 10, that was a definite order. But this honorable mentions, they made it to the review table for consideration. So they don't really rank anywhere. We have Nendoroid Tracer from Overwatch. Now, I love this figure. It's well sculpted. All the paint is nice and sharp. The wash is beautiful. All the details are really sharp. And look at that. She's adorable. I love the Nendoroid style. And if you watched my review, this is the one that I wanted to start my Nendoroid collection. I'm actually eyeballing the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Guardian Nendoroid. That thing has shown up at Target of all places. So I'm trying to get that before they sell out. They had like a few in the store near me, and they had a few more in the store up the freeway. But yeah, Nendoroid. This is my first Nendoroid figure, and she is absolutely adorable. She has my heart. Not really. It's a toy. All right. Next up, honorable mention. Power of the Primes, Punch and Counter Punch. This guy was he didn't quite make it to the top 10. He almost did, because this is pure nostalgia factor. Most of the Transformers from Power of the Primes is nostalgia factor. You know, this guy, you remember, if you remember the, when you got boxed Transformers, they would come with that little fold out, like checklist catalog, you know? And I remember seeing Punch and Counter Punch and thinking, man, it would be really cool if I had an Autobot who was also a Decepticon, and he could just like steal stuff for the Autobots or steal stuff for the Decepticons. And it doesn't even matter. He just plays both sides of the fence, you know? That was Punch and Counter Punch. And, man, they did such a good job with this figure. Like, yeah, Sal at Ultrazilla will point this out. You know, you've got the Hasbro Transformers rattle right there. But if you're holding this guy, you know it doesn't feel loose or hollow at all. There are hollow points, like, you know, in his legs and stuff, but it feels good. It feels tight. It actually feels like a solid figure, you know. And the fact that he can turn into like two Transformers, you can see his face right there, two you know, an Autobot and a Decepticon, and have the alt mode in between. That's amazing. Engineering, yeah. All right, next honorable mention. We've got the T-1000 by NECA. Now, I really like this character and I like this figure, but the reason he didn't make it into top 10 is because if you didn't know this character at all, it just looks like an angry police officer, you know, and that's it, you know, and that's cool, you know. They have that stern look, you know, that cowboy look, you know, and I like police officers. You know, some of my best friends are police officers, but I mean, I don't need a police officer action figure. You know, I mean, that's why I left the T-1000 pointy finger on there, because I needed him to look the part, you know. He comes with like an alternate head where there's a big hole in his face from when Arnold Schwarzenegger shoots his face with the shotgun, and there's a big like hole where his eye was. But I wanted this to look clean and pristine. I wanted him to look like a police officer, you know. But at the same time, it's not very impressive in the sense of like, you know, standing out. It just looks like a what's his name? Robert Patrick police officer figure. So if you have no background on Terminator, you have no idea who this is, you know. So that's why he didn't make it to the top 10. Sorry, dude. Don't poke me in the face. Thank you. All right. Next honorable mention, and this Transformers Siege, War for Cybertron, Voyager class, Megatron. This is a nice figure. It really is. But, you know, he was more underwhelming than I thought he would be. You know, like I think it's because, over the years, Optimus Prime has been what? A truck. A truck of some sort, a truck of some kind, sometimes a fire truck. Sometimes he's a woolly mammoth, but like his typical mode is a semi truck, or a big truck, something truck like, something with wheels, that's big. And Megatron has been a gun, he's been a tank, he's been an airplane, he's been a Nerf gun. What else has he been? It's like they don't have like this nailed down, this is what Megatron is alt mode, and that's kind of, I think that kind of plays into how, like, it definitely has that look of bot mode Megatron, but it just he's just so plain looking, and I think a lot of that is a lot of we owe a lot of that to the fact that his alt mode is kind of ambiguous, and the ambiguity kind of shows through in his bot mode. So he looks good. He feels great. All of his joints are good. His alt mode is actually kind of nice. But I don't know. He's just kind of, he's cool, but he falls flat. And I can't really, I don't know how to articulate that. Maybe I already did articulate it and you get it. I don't know. That's my opinion. If you have a different opinion, sorry. Let's see. Next, honorable mention. Jason Momoa and a shark. I don't know what it is about this toy set, and I was talking to my wife about this top 10 and honorable mentions, and she's like, why are you including this? This is more of like a toy with a gimmick. I was like, they're all toys with gimmicks, but this is a shark. It's a shark, and it's like, let's see, where's the yeah, and the shark opens his mouth and it looks like a shark. It's humongous. I love it. Its tail wags and his mouth opens and it's menacing. Look at that. If this came up to you, you'd wish that you stayed out of the water. It does a great job. And let's see. Okay. What impresses me about the Jason Momoa figure is that it actually looks like Jason Momoa. Like the basic figures look like their on-screen counterparts, and that's, you can kind of say that about the Avengers figures, the basic figures, but not really. The paint is kind of just like slapped on there. Like, that's an eye. We better put white paint there with a dot of certain color on it, But this right here, you see, that looks like Jason Momoa, and that's incredible to me. That like, wow, and it's the basic figure with the basic articulation. It doesn't have any like real like range as far as articulation goes, but wow, the sculpt, wow, and he comes with a shark. It's like, wow, this was a really cool set, So, honorable mention, Jason Momoa and Warrior Shark. Finally, I was contemplating not showing this guy, but I mean, what can I say? Ex Nihilo. I told you guys my Marvel Legends collecting started this year with Gwenpool, but man, I saw this guy And I was like, I don't care who he is. I need him in my collection. Because look at his face. He's just like, you know, he's got that, that, what's his name? Is it Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine? He's just like, what? Me? What? What? Why? Why me? What? What? You know, it's like, me worry? Nah, no bad days. You know, he's so like there's so much character in this, and I know this is like this is such a. I know a lot of Marvel Legends characters use this mold, but man, I don't know. This is like he's such a like this guy looks like a ham. He's just like, oh yeah, watch this. You know, it's like I take this guy down off the shelf and just kind of mess with him. He's got those like asymmetrical horns, you know, and he's got that grin, like he's got like this inside joke, and you're falling for it every time. And his articulation is really nice. And I don't know, he's got the like he's got the grabby hands, like I'm gonna get you, you know, and he has his feet, you know, he's like a walking Oscar with horns and a third eye, you know. But man, I'll tell you, this was the first Marvel Legends figure I picked up as Toys R Us was closing. So this guy kind of holds some significant value to me in that respect. He's, you know, I actually got the entire Guardians of the Galaxy Mantis Wave Build-A-Figure set from Toys R Us, and it started with this guy, you know. So yeah, honorable mention, Marvel Legends Ex Nihilo. So that's it for my year's end top 10 and my honorable mentions. I hope you guys had a great 2018, and I hope your 2019 is full of toys and you know, just like significance. You know, I hope your 2019 is full of blessing and joy and cheer and things that build your character. You know, I hope your 2019 has opportunities to help your fellow man as well. So that's it for my video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when I put new stuff up on the channel. And yeah, I'm probably going to put a couple pictures of these guys all together on my Instagram and Facebook, so watch out for that. And yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.